And hello, we're here. It's me, that N-O-double-G. And of course, I'm here, so lend me your ear and I'll try to sing out a song. But I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm going to try a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. And they're all here. All of my friends are here. Not just on the pod, but you guys watching as well. And as you can see, we've nearly got a full house. We nearly have a full house. Unfortunately, Keira had to work. Something to do with being an adult and having responsibilities, but we'll forgive her this week because we're all here. And to keep this a little bit orderly, we'll go through one at a time. With Charlotte is here. No need to fear because Charlotte is here. Football is back, and Charlotte, how does that make you feel?
Oh, so excited! Proper buzzing. And
of course the lower league started as well. And where can we find out about lower league stuff? Is that happening anytime soon anyway?
It's happening very soon. I can speak properly. I'm very excited. It's on Thursday at 8:30.
Oh my gosh, at 8:30 Thursday, live on YouTube. You can catch the lower league, which has already kicked off and is well underway. And in the chat, we've got Chris, who says it's a shame that Sam supports Man United. It is. I think he feels your pain as well. He thinks it's a shame.
It's got to be done. Someone's got to bring some controversy.
And hello to Stinky. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us as well. And of course, while we're on it, Sam, football is here. It started this weekend. How does it make you feel?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm like Khalees when the milkshake brought all the boys to the yard. That's how I feel.
Oh, damn right. It's better than yours. But
damn right.
I could show you, but I'd have to charge. And of course, a sort of new face, an almost new face, but not quite a new face, but a face who's going to be more permanently a face of this place. It's Billy. And Billy, how are you this evening?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine and dandy, and the football is here. And how does that make you feel?
Anxious but buzzing at the same time.
Oh, superb. As a Spurs fan and the window's not shut, of course, you're going to be nervous because who knows what's going to happen to any of your players at any point. And somebody who must be super duper happy, probably one of the happier people to be here. We're always happy to have him here. He brings a sex appeal right up to here. It is Lucas. The football is back. You are winners. And how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I'm excited. Very excited. Looking forward to it, yeah.
Oh, beautiful time. And we've got in the chat, Graham, good evening, lady and gentlemen. And Simon as well in the chat, welcome to you as well. And Mr. Luke, thank you for joining us. And we're going to start because football has started. First of all, England today. Well done, England. That was touching. Did anybody watch the game? Because we haven't prepared this bit. Charlotte.
I actually
Billy,
did.
How did that one make you feel, Shaq? As that was tweet.
I know. But yeah, it was kind of one of them where, to be fair, I think Nigeria deserved to go through because I think they played really well. I think we were technically better, but they were a very strong physical team. But yeah, England actually won on penalties, which doesn't really happen. So I'm happy.
What a winning penalty as well. I mean, Billy, if you watch that, what did you think of that at the end? What a penalty.
Yeah, I thought the keeper saved it at first. I had to double take because I saw the England girls running off. I was like, oh, this is great. I mean, they didn't deserve to win at all, but they're through, so that's all you can ask for.
And standing on a player's back, should we just move on from that one for now?
I think we're best.
We'll pretend that it never happened. Nobody walked across the back of another player just to be spiteful. That didn't happen. But more good news. Well done, England ladies. Hopefully, are we through? Is it the semi-finals? No, it's not. Quarterfinals now. Anybody think how much further are we going to get? Char, what's your prediction? How much farther do you think?
I'm really bad at predictions, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Fantastic. You
Especially considering it's a prediction show tonight, so mine will just be carnage.
How about you, Sam? We're England ladies getting.
I went the whole way when we did the women's football pod, so I'm sticking. I'm the only one with the team left in it, so I'm not changing now. I'm not changing now all the way. It's been a strange one. There's been teams knocked out all over the show, so it is really open, really open.
Yes. I mean, and Billy, I'm assuming we all had a little giggle at America going out the way that they did. No, we didn't, because that's horrible. No one would say that. How far do you think England are going to go?
I think they'll get to the final. I don't know if they'll win it, but I feel like they'll go all the way, and hopefully they can bring it home. Fingers crossed.
Well, fingers crossed. And Lucas, where is your prediction for England ladies before we move on?
Yeah, I think they'll go to the final, but I lean towards France.
Ooh,
but I'd love it if Jamaica won.
But well, in the chat, Graham saying Japan and Spain are looking strong. Chris is saying Colombia, if they get through to play the Lionesses in the quarters, they're a physically stronger team. I've not seen them. I've not seen them play. Solaris, Lauren, Joey Barton, James, and here we go. Chris is saying the women have to bring it home as the men are bottlers. They are bottlers. Apparently, France are going to play Australia in the semis, allegedly. And Stinky's saying happy birthday to the one and only
Next comment.
Robbie Van Persie.
Move on. Next comment.
Happy birthday, Robin.
No, bad birthday, Robin.
But getting into the football, the Premier League has not quite kicked off, but our warm up, the starter, the trophy that nobody cares about unless they win it, occurred this weekend. And of course, I got to go to you, Lucas. How did that game make you feel? The Charity Shield winners on penalties.
Just had to throw that in there, didn't you? Yeah,
Graham's comment.
Oh God, time will tell, won't it? I'm happy because we beat Man City. That's it. That's probably it. We haven't beaten them in like nearly 4 years, apparently. I think the last time we beat them was when we won the FA Cup in all competitions. So I think I'm happy that we actually just managed to beat Man City because it seems impossible. Outside of that, couldn't really care. It's a friendly. Let's be honest. It's a glorified friendly.
What would you mean? I mean, you've got in the chat Luke saying
shiny dinner plate. Yeah, it's a tea plate.
That is.
But no, I think it's good we beat Man City. That's honestly it. I mean, yeah, the extra time and the yellow cards for kicking the ball away was really odd. It's just odd to see it, but yeah, I'm happy we beat Man City, but I wouldn't look into it too much, to be honest. Didn't Liverpool win it last year? And look where you finished.
Yes.
Not to that's not a dig. It's just stating facts.
Stating facts.
I'm just trying to think. Are we PG or family friendly or what this evening? But Solaris said there should have been even more added time. Lisa's saying good evening. Good evening, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. Stinky's also saying Arteta won a trophy this season. It's job safe. Doesn't matter where he finishes.
It's not even a trophy, it's a shield.
I thought it was a plate. Are we landing on shield or big shiny dinner plate?
Competition technicalities.
It's the Wimbledon shield. It's the same thing.
Well, I mean, so you're not reading any further into that victory other than it happened, and you're just happy that you didn't lose.
I'm happy that we won. I'm happy that we won. But apart from that, no, it's not. Arsenal fans have already started. I'm sure you've seen it all over Twitter. With the psychological advantage, we can win the league. Man City is still the best team in the world. So let's just get that straight. They haven't won it for the last 3 times they've been in it as well. Like I said, Liverpool won it last year, and I can't remember who won it the year before. Was it Chelsea?
Probably Chelsea. I want to say Chelsea. They normally win it, don't they?
Or it might have been Liverpool again, actually. But yeah, I wouldn't look into it too much until the season starts. But I think you can definitely take into account some of the individual performances, and I think that's how Arsenal are going to line up. Man City, I still think that's not their first 11, but again, they don't really have a first 11. But I think that's how Arsenal are going to line up. But there were some very good performances, and there were some pretty how do I put this? Pretty horrific finishing from he who should not be named, who came from Chelsea. So yeah, apart from that, I think there's definitely some worries going into the season, but they were there from the beginning. But we look very solid. Defensively, we look very solid. And I'm very happy with Timber. I think Timber's quality. So that looks like a steal.
It's a good sign. And Chris in the chat, wow, there is a humble Arsenal fan. Bravo, Lucas.
No, I get called negative. So you have to say your team is the best in the world and all your players are the best ever. And if you could have Mbappe, you would turn him down because you got Martinelli. That's what you have to say if you're a negative Arsenal fan.
Obviously, and Jesus, don't forget.
Yes. We don't. Yeah.
Have faith in Jesus. But of course, if anybody is listening to us on audio, on Spotify or Amazon or iTunes, you can join us live and you can give us some abuse or tell us what wonderful football fans we are, as Chris just did of Lucas. But Lucas is not just an Arsenal fan, he's also our secret closet Spurs fan, over to a real Spurs fan. Billy, how did you feel about Arsenal winning a trophy, another trophy? How does that make you feel?
It's like Lucas said, it's a pre-season friendly. It's just Man City didn't play their best team. They won a nice plate. It goes in the cupboard. No one ever looks at it again. It's just one of those things.
Would you turn it down at Spurs, or you going to wait for a real trophy?
No, we'll take it at Tottenham. We'll take any trophy, shield, plate, anything.
And the trophy, they got a cup that says "World's Best Boss" on it. That's it. That
You've got to win the trophy
himself.
to be able to play in it, though.
That's it, yeah.
You get a situation like us, yeah.
That might be the stumbling block. For us.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if they'll have the option.
I'm going to say this. There's some good things here. Salaris in the chat. Spurs would take winning the under-23s, winning the Pizza Cup. And Graves here, the Community Shield is nice. It's no Audi Cup. Do Arsenal win that often? I'm sure you've won one of them, haven't you? The Audi Cup.
We've got the Emirates Cup.
Same thing. Same difference, but one of the controversies that you did mention from that game, what I quite liked was Arteta got a yellow card. I'm not sure if you saw that. That was that was wonderful. For one in, I think somebody fouled Kai Havertz. He waved his imaginary yellow card, and the referee went, "Oh, really? Watch this. This is for you, me old cocker." Which I quite enjoyed. I mean, Lucas, what do you think about that? That Arteta might be put in his place.
As soon as it happened, I was like, I know Josh is loving this. As soon as it happened, because you've been a big advocate for managers staying in their box. Apart from when Klopp runs down the line and
I said he could get booked.
Apart from Jurgen Klopp, because it's part of his personality, so he's allowed to do it.
Because his hamstring gets in, so you don't have to worry about it.
Karma. I agree. I don't like all the Arteta's, he does way too much. Like, just chill out. But I think it's good. Yeah, the managers need to relax a bit on the touchline. Obviously, you can show a bit of passion, but I think running up and down is debatable. But I think asking for a yellow card definitely warrants. And he was harassing. He's been doing it since he's been at Arsenal. He harasses the fourth official more than what I've seen with any other manager consistently. So I am not surprised they're clapping down on it, because there are a load of managers who go way overboard, and Arteta's one of them. So he was quiet after that.
There, I like the fact that he laughed when he took it. Like, are you joking or what? And I was watching it going, ha! No, it's about time, matey. Lisa wants to ask, who is the guy that scored the penalty for Arsenal? Who's the guy that scored for Arsenal? Took a penalty. Yeah. Which one? Pick a guy, rattle through them all. Do you know all the penalty takers?
Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and then Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira's penalty was probably the best one. Maybe it's Fabio Vieira she's talking about.
Did he score? Did he play a game? I didn't think he was allowed to play for Arsenal, Fabio Vieira.
No, he didn't play, thank God. But he scored. He took his penalty well.
But I mean, another thing that come out with that game was, as Chris is saying, don't start with the added time nonsense, which there was. There was a lot of added time. I mean, what was the minute that the equaliser was scored in? Was it
111, I think.
111, yeah.
There was 8 minutes extra time, but then 3 minutes because of a head injury. Kyle Walker and Gabriel, I think it was. No, Kyle Walker and Partey. I think Varane put out a statement yesterday, which
he did. Yeah.
I kind of agree with sentiment, but then I was also a bit like, I know it's a bit harsh, but if I was getting £17 million a year, I'd probably play an extra 10 minutes. I mean, but I get where they're coming from. If you're coming from the opinion of it ruins the game or it's altering the game, I completely agree with that. If football players are just whining because they don't want to play an extra 6 games a season, I'm kind of like, I get that you have short careers and stuff, but you are literally earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a week to play football. So an extra 6 games a year, I don't really agree with that. But I think it will affect the game, because if you're going to 110, 111 minutes, the whole strategy of winning in 90 minutes is kind of a little bit, I wouldn't say redundant, but it definitely affects it in terms of, we need to, a last minute winner doesn't really exist now, because you've got an extra 15 minutes before stoppage time actually gets applied. So it works in the World Cup in the tournament, but in the league format, I don't know. I think it's going to be weird.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen it, Rafael Varane has said that in his tweet, I'll try and read his tweet out as quickly as I can. We had a meeting last week with the FA. They recommended the referees new decisions and new rules. From the managers and players who've shared our concerns for many years that there are too many games, schedule is overcrowded, and it's at a dangerous level for players' physical and mental well-being. Despite our previous feedbacks, they recommended for our next season longer games, more intensity, and less emotions. I don't think that was put out. I don't think they said anything about emotions when the directive that come out. We want to be in good condition on the pitch, give 100%. Why are our opinions not being heard? As a player, I feel very privileged to do the job I love every day, but I feel these changes are damaging our game. We want to be at our maximum level, the best we can be, and put on amazing performances for fans to celebrate every week. I believe it's important that we players and managers highlight these important issues. We want to protect the game we love and give the fans our best. Sam, that's your boy there. Do you think he's right to be complaining, or do you think maybe he should just sit down?
I'd like Rafa Varane defending headers and stuff. I don't really want to be reading in his essays on Twitter about his pre-meetings with. No, I mean, coming from someone we had Fergie time for years and it wasn't a problem. So we're used to playing this time in the 90s and the noughties. They're missing the point as well that last season they introduced more substitutes as well. There's more substitutes, so that's a sort of flip side. Last season players were probably playing less if you use your substitutes right. They're going to make changes to the game and see where it goes. Give it some time. It's different. So the next couple of weeks, everyone's going to go, what's going on here? It's the same as injury time. If you're winning, you don't want any injury time. If you're losing, you want lots of injury time. So the same argument will continue just over a longer period of time. And we see so many goals late on anyway. So, they just have to train for another 10 minutes or use your substitutes a bit more cleverly, perhaps. So I love Varane, but just maybe let that one go.
He's never fit enough anyway to play for extra minutes.
Exactly.
He's always he's always like in the injury room.
That's why he's so worried about it.
He's worried more minutes for Maguire. That's the
He's like, I can barely manage 55 minutes every couple of months anyway. Christ, try and get a little bit more in. I'm in lots of trouble. I mean, Billy, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, adding on the extra time, the reasoning behind it, and how you think it's going to play out?
I think we're going to see a lot more injuries this season. I think particularly towards the back end of the season. And I feel like for the teams that are fighting a relegation battle, it's going to be tough for them because they're going to backs against the wall all season, playing an extra 10, 15 minutes every game. It's going to add up. And I feel like, like I said, the physio rooms are going to be busy next year. I think, like you guys said as well, for a tournament, it's fine. But in the league, it just doesn't make sense to me if you're playing extra 15, 20 minutes a game.
Oh, I mean, in the chat, we've got Chris is saying they should do what rugby do and just stop the clock. And you've got Chris in the chat as well, always about them. Can't stand these players. They get enough treatment as it is getting nails clipped in private jets. Chris also had his about how long the players' celebrations last. And Graham comments, he's all in for it. It'll cut the goalkeepers taking forever on goal kicks for starters and don't want 10 minutes stoppage time. Don't waste time. It's not a complicated rule. I mean, one of the things that I'm not sure if people have picked up, but I think perhaps Charlotte, as myself, you might also pick up on this. If you want to take your child to the game and it's a midweek game that starts at 8 o'clock, automatically you think it starts at 8. Best case scenario, you're out to the ground for 10-ish. Yeah. If it's a home game, you might be home for 10:30. If you're adding on that extra 15, 20 minutes, that 10:30 is then creeping into like 11 o'clock in the evening. I mean, from a logistical viewpoint, do you think that's going to make much of a difference that people will get upset about?
Yeah, I think so, especially it don't really matter for me with obviously being lower league and we're usually 3-0 down anyway.
Charlotte's leaving at 70 minutes.
We don't get many people in the crowd, but from like a Premier League perspective as well, when there's so many obviously other fans and it's crowded anyway. And for the people travelling as well, you think of the away supporters. It's obviously if it's a night game and whether trains are having to catch as well, whether they'll miss the trains because of it. So yeah, from that perspective as well, I think obviously it's not very good. But I just feel like football's just an evolving and changing game now, isn't it? And we'll all talk about this rule now, and then within like the next few years, it'll have changed again. It's just
TV's
mental,
stitched up the travel as well already, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
the first game EFL was Southampton away at Sheffield Wednesday
Yeah.
on a Friday night. So another 20 minutes of that journey, you're still going to be early hours of the morning. So it's pretty bonkers.
I think Lisa, I think she's referring to the Dale game that you've just had, 9 minutes extra time.
Yeah, we did.
And Chris is saying lots of chat. And by the way, very much appreciate all of your input in the chat this evening. Saying if players stop wasting time, then the added time wouldn't be 10 minutes. And Simon believes he's paying 30 minutes to watch, £30 plus to watch a game. You want to see the full 90 minutes. And Chris believes there's pros and cons with everything. The only thing I would say to play devil's advocate a little bit with it, for me, football's a tapestry. Everything's different. It's a rich tapestry of different styles, different ways of playing, and different teams trying to overcome a Leviathan, a big beast, if you like. So if you have a smaller team, Luton, for example, coming up, they're not going to be able to play free-flowing football against Man City and dominate and keep the ball in play for longer. They can't do it. They'll get mauled and battered and destroyed. So I think being able to have that capability of playing a low block, wasting time, playing for minutes, kicking the ball out, taking long goal kicks, for me, that's a bit of part of football. That's a tactic that you're employing to your strengths. If the strength that you've got is that you can be rugged and hold on to a ball in the corner for a little bit longer, or take a long shot, or do like Stoke and have a really long ball in, you play to your strengths. And if you can't do that, basically for me, it's a little bit like the FA are telling teams, you have to play like Man City. You have to play with the ball in play all the time. You need to be passing it, keeping it moving all the time. You can't be wasting time. You can't play to your team's strengths. You have to play to how we want football to be played. And that's my only concern that I've got, is that you're killing a little bit of that variety, and that some teams are going to suffer as a result of it. I mean, Shah, if you're supporting a lower team working its way up, would you not feel that a little bit?
Yeah, I completely agree.
And that's my only issue. I mean, Luke, he's saying he think it's a load of proverbial. Just go back to the normal rules. I think
they'll change it. I agree with what you just said. I think because where does it stop? If you go, time wasting is part of the game. Just like it's not the best example, but diving is a part of the game, or tricking, conning the ref, especially in they say, in South America, it's part of the culture around the game, around not necessarily diving, but getting one over the official in terms of a false decision is so much part of the game that you start changing these things one by one, and then sooner or later you've got complete. I think that's part of what Varane's statement maybe what he had meant in that.
Yeah,
you're changing too much now. We've got extra subs last round. We've got you got water breaks now as well, where the manager can go and talk to the team and give them new instructions 4 times a game, where you can only do that at half time. Now you've got what's considered time wasting, isn't it subjective now again? So we're giving more power to the officials who we've seen can't be trusted with VAR, and now we're trusting them to decide what's considered time wasting. I think you're just opening up to too much scrutiny. So we'll see how it happens. I just think it's a little bit of an unnecessary change, and I agree. I think time wasting is part of the game, as much as it is frustrating when you're on the back end of it. When it's your team doing it, everyone's happy. So what's the issue? Right?
When you've got games where you're leading, you've got the underdog. I'll use Luton and Man City again. If Luton get 1-0 up and they're defending for their lives and they've been flinging the ball here, there, whatever, and it's at 90 minutes, and this guy holds the ball up and says 10 minutes, you're going to think, what the hell are we going to do for 10 minutes? And you're favouring then the better team. You're favouring Goliath over David. David's fighting with his slingshot, and then we've just given Goliath, this Kalashnikov just to wipe him off the face of the earth. And that's my only thing. I think that we got in the chat here. Chris is saying, we'll see how it goes. He agrees with part of what I'm saying. Part of what I say is normally only all that makes sense anyway. Graham saying Charlton had 3 minutes added time in the first half and 7 in the second, so 10 extra there. And you've got, Chris has said it looks like what they did at the Qatar World Cup, and he thinks that's what they want to do as well. Luke is saying 10 minutes added on is a joke. And I think, but the irony for me is when VAR takes about 20 minutes to make the easiest decision in the world, and then they say to a goalkeeper, take less than 5 seconds to kick the ball, please, mate, as I take 20 minutes to make a decision that you can see the first time.
And they still get it wrong. They still get it wrong, don't they?
Yeah.
In it.
Exactly. I mean, Solaris is saying in the chat, a third of the game with the ball not in play does seem a problem. I get it, but I mean, again, it's for me, it's just tactics. It's just part of the beautiful tapestry of football. I think that's the last thing that on Eagle-Eyed Football, first time in the chat that I've seen. The amount of time we take to celebrate, expect loads of extra time. But I think the other rule that we'll touch on quickly, being stricter with I'm assuming it's just going to be the coaches and the managers, but answering back, chatting back. I mean, Sam, as a United fan, do you worry for Bruno Fernandes if the refs are going to be stricter on stropping?
Oh, that was a low blow.
Look at that. Outrageous. There you go. Shocking. Bring Howard Webb back. That's what we need. Yeah, there's going to be bookings galore, I think. The first couple of weeks are going to be, if you're going to have a bet, have it on over bookings, red card. There's going to be, because you've got kicking the ball away as well. We saw that in the Community Shield very, very early on as well. And I heard what Arteta was saying about, it's habits. People are trying to change behaviours and habits because the players have got into that, whether it's right or wrong. They've always done it. So I think we're going to see an awful lot of bookings. Luke Shaw gets booked every game as it is for kicking the ball away. And now it's going to be a disaster. So it's going to take a long time. And there are going to be, I think over the next few weeks, there's going to be a lot of heavy. The one thing I hope is if they're going to do it, stick with it. Do it and stick with it. Don't kind of buckle down in 2-3 weeks and suddenly say, no, we're not going to go for that because it's getting silly. Because the whole point is it's supposed to punish people to stop this. This is what they want out of the game. So follow it through. And if it still doesn't happen, then you've got a bigger problem. But at least follow through your plans.
Following through is always an important task. But no, I agree. I think all the dissent and that sort of jazz that needs to be cut. That does. And even if Klopp gets a yellow, if he gets sent off, I'm fine. Don't do it. Don't shout at people needlessly.
You sounded like Ross out of Friends then. I'm fine.
I'm fine. Fine. I am. I'm fine. I mean, an eagle-eyed football in the chat, talking about the initial time screwing over fans getting home. We did touch on that already. And on the evening game, as Sam said, kicking off Southampton, Sheffield United on a Friday night, starting at 8 o'clock. That's the last thing that you want. But we'll move on. We're relatively happy with that. We'll do some transfers. We've done transfers to death. They're all the same transfers. So we won't waste loads of time on that. Mbappe has been put into PSG's B team. And so that's happening at the moment. I'm not sure what's happening with Osimhen. If anybody's seen that, Saudi made an offer for it. I think they made something like 80 million. And Napoli said they wanted at least 120. So that's still kicking about. Today, I'm not sure if you've seen this. Neymar has told PSG, I'm not quite very happy here, really. I think I might like to leave. Another one for you, Sam, is Neymar could be free. Do you fancy him at United?
No, we've got plenty of wingers, thank you. Chelsea would be ideal for Neymar, I reckon.
But another one that is still bumbling along at the moment. So today, Spurs rejected 100 million euros for Harry Kane. Apparently, they want 100 million pounds of the realm. Billy, is he going to stay or is he going to go? And what do you want?
I really want him to go. I've wanted him gone for a couple of seasons now. So I hope he goes. I hope he doesn't leave on a free, because that'd be. I don't think he'd quite do a Sol Campbell. I don't think he'd go to Arsenal, but I feel like if he leaves on a free, he'll go to somewhere like Man United or Liverpool, for instance.
It's an interesting one. I mean, are you fed up with Danny Levy yet?
No, do you know what? I said this before, and I don't think it's him. I feel like this transfer is him, but he wants a bargain. He'll do it on deadline day, and we'll end up signing Taremi from Porto, and he'll score 3 goals in a season. So there's my prediction for that one.
It is a strange one. I mean, I did sort of put tongue in cheek tweet out earlier. Well, I don't everybody read it as tongue in cheek, but it was. But why would Kane want to leave Spurs though? He's got no pressure to win. He doesn't have to perform well. He can just rock up, be on the pitch, and it's fine. And if he does well and you win something, Billy bonus, that's superb. But why would he want to be ambitious and try and win something? But do you think Ange could turn it around for you and keep hold of him? And because he said he'll sign a new contract if Ange makes something happen, do you think he's going to?
Not this season. I don't feel like this season for us is a transition season. It's going to be like a building one. If we have a good run in the Carabao Cup, that'll be good. And if we can finish in the Conference League place, I think that's a big plus. But yeah, he's not going to win anything this season. I can't see it. It would take something unbelievable for him to do it.
All these optimistic London football fans, you just blowing me away. Chris in the chat saying that he can sign for a pre-contract with Bayern anyway for free in January, so he might do that. But while we are on transfers, I am going to have a little 2-minute rant. So Liverpool today, Lavia's the bid for Lavia again has been rejected, because Southampton has said again, we've said £50 million. Every single bid you dropped and we said, no, we want 50 million. And Liverpool are going up from 37, 40, 42, 43, 45. They want 50 million. And I'm at the brink now where for the first time since they've been here, FSG are really cheesing me off. And I'm concerned. I think this season we've had a net spend of 40 million. We've let go of Keita, Ox, Milner, Henderson and Fabio out of a midfield that was already weak, that we already needed reinforcements to, and we brought in 2. So even by the maths of 1 in, 1 out, and the fact that we were short anyway, we're still 3 players down. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't got a central midfield to start the season with. I'm not sure if you've seen this evening. I think Gakpo is playing in midfield for us in our final pre-season game today. It's unnerving, and I'm really scared. We need to spend some sodding money. Eric Ten Hag has now had a higher net spend in his 2 transfer windows than Klopp's entire reign at Liverpool. And
how long did your Liverpool rant take? I'm thinking, how long are we going to get there? How long?
In reality, I mean, the big thing for me is when people talk about net spend and what's it's worth, it's the investment in the club. It's not saying spend to get you in debt. This is the net spend of how much from transfers is coming in and out. So we should be able to spend more than what we've had. And like nobody says the Glazers are wonderful owners. However, they're still pumping the money in. We've got owners that run the business well, for transfers, Sam.
It's not their money, is it? It's our money.
Well,
nothing to do with
that's
money.
The thing. You're still spending it, though. It's still being spent. They got 100 million in the bank just kicking around, and we refuse to spend 50 million. It's cheesing me off. So, FSG, sort your lives out, please. Otherwise, I'm going to have to join the FSG out club. That is my rant. Does anybody? And a wonderful transfer. We've seen Sam was very upset when he saw this before he came on the pod. Harry Maguire looks like he could be on his way to West Ham. Sam, how does that one make you feel, sir?
Oh, there's rumours of a bidding war, which would just be hilarious. Not just West Ham. Premier League clubs fighting tooth and nail for Harry Maguire. Yeah, it's the best moment of my transfer window so far. This is. Although watch nothing happen, and then come September the 1st, Varane gets injured, and there he is.
Yeah, I mean, Chris. I think Chris is happy in the chat. There's a yes. I'm assuming that's a noise you make when you say yes with that many yeses. But you're not going to miss him. Your former captain. Yeah, the England stalwart in defence. You don't think you're going to struggle without him? Because Stuart Pearce said any team would be lucky to have him.
Well, there we go. Well, Stuart Pearce was a left back. He didn't have to worry about the centre bit, did he? To be fair to Harry Maguire, I think Harry Maguire needs to move. Harry Maguire needs a fresh. I think actually the comments he came out with after losing the captaincy were very. He took that very well on the chin, and he spoke very well. He's always been respectful of the club, to be honest, as well. So I think it's just right for all parties. It moves on. If he stays, he's going to be again on the periphery. he's got to think about, because he is in Gareth's, whether we agree with it or not, he is in Gareth's team and he needs to prep for next summer. Yeah, I think it's best for all parties he moves on. And it might work quite well at West Ham. I think in a different team that plays a different way, you've still got a defender there that can do a good job, Premier League side. But just the way Ten Hag wants to play, it's just too exposed.
Oh, and there's nothing like an exposed footballer. But the reason we're all here today, I mean, it would have been lovely to get Keira here, but Keira can't. We are missing you, although I appreciate only getting bullied by Charlotte and a little bit of Sam.
I've been nice today.
Yeah, I know.
Just when you take pot shots at me.
I know.
Put the shirt on for the first time and you're chucking grenades over.
But the reason we are all here, apart from Keira, and it's great. I really appreciate you guys all coming on. What a lovely team we have. And I know I'm the big drag factor in the handsome streaks, but look how beautiful they all are. So thank you for coming all in today, guys. But the main reason is because the Premier League does kick off this weekend. As Sam has already said, the first game was Southampton, Sheffield United. Is that right? Is that the first one, Sam? Is that what we're kicking the Premier League off with?
No, that was the
Championship.
Championship. Burnley City. Championship.
Burnley City. That's right.
You're a week behind.
I am, mate. But that's a nicer way to start then. But we're gonna make all of our predictions. This is true. That's a bit of. I mean, before we get into our predictions for all of the teams, I mean, Lucas, you started us off there. How do you think Burnley are going to cope with Man City?
Yeah, 4-0. They're going to get destroyed. Yeah, it's pretty simple. They're going to get destroyed on the first game of the new season.
How about you, Billy? You give Burnley any hope?
They're going to get smashed to bits. It's not even going to be close.
Sam, any advance on smashed to bits?
No, they had a cup game last year and they got smashed to bits, didn't they? They played the same way. City are still City. Yeah, 4, maybe 5.
Any advance on 5, Shah?
Completely agree. To be fair, I'm going to go for I think a 3-4-0. I'm going to say.
And Simon in the chat, he really hopes Burnley gets battered. That's nice. And Burnley need Nathan Teller as he's too good for the Championship, according to Chris.
So good. Southampton have got 3 players that are too good for the Championship. Teller was awesome on Friday night. Very good.
They'll sell them all. But here's Graham in the chat. You've got to play devil's advocate. 1-0 to Burnley.
I hope so.
In extra time. I'd love that. In like the 11th minute of extra time, Pep will be fuming. And this one, you might know something on this one. Lucas, DJ Mikey is hiding.
Shout out DJ Mikey. He's a Burnley fan who lives in Canada. He is flying to London for the first time ever to watch Burnley Man City, which is the first Burnley game he'll ever see.
Oh no! Well, that
not
is
cheap
sad.
not cheap too, but yeah,
that is sad. But we're gonna kick into our predictions, and we're gonna start off. We've broken it down. We're gonna go through our top 6 finishes, then our bottom 4, and then we'll quickly go through everybody. So and you can let us know in the chat whether you agree or disagree. So who do we think we all believe is going to win the Premier League? This will shock you. It's Man City. No, nobody has deviated away from Man City. We're all still relatively happy. I mean, they've signed the central defender whose name I can't say properly. Who's frustratingly good. Do we think they're likely to bring anybody else that will change anything, or by the looks of it, we're all happy that they don't need to?
I don't know if anyone's seen this one, right? Yeah, Kovacic is in. There's one more being linked as of yesterday, and he's a Premier League winger, very, very good. Josh, you'll probably remember him because he had Joe Gomez twerking last season for you. He plays for Brighton on the left.
No. Ruined Mahrez. Don't ruin Matoma.
They're heavily linked to Matoma.
No. So that's not going to change anything. So we're still all set on Man City. So thank you for spoiling the Premier League for us, Man City. And second, we've all got a little bit of a variation on theme. I'll be honest with mine. It was purely because I couldn't really see anybody having a particularly good season. So I just went with Liverpool because I copied and pasted from last year. Charlotte, you've gone for Man United.
Yeah. I just think Eric Ten Hag's got him playing some good stuff. Obviously, and over in the Champions League, they won trophies last year. I think, obviously, the changes they've done to the team, I know they are transitioning as a team as well. So I don't know if that could obviously, be difficult. But I just think he's got him playing some really good stuff. We've brought some decent players in. Obviously, Casemiro's there. You got Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Rashford last season. I think it's time for Sancho to prove himself as well this season, or he's out the door. So I think hopefully he'll have a decent season as well. So I just think Eric Ten Hag and what he's doing for Manchester United, that's why I put them second.
And Billy, you've gone for Man United as well. Do you have anything different from Shah's reasoning?
I think they've got a proper striker now. I know he's injured at the moment, but Rasmus Højlund is a proper striker. I feel like he's gonna do well for them. Last season they had Weghorst. I mean, yeah, and now they've got a massive upgrade.
Says it all.
I mean, Sam, our resident United fan, putting Liverpool above Man United. I had to double check. I didn't copy and paste mine onto yours, but I think this is indeed what you said. What were you thinking there?
Well, I did it last season and you tanked it, so I thought let's do it again. Let's stick you up there. No, I think, as you said, okay, you've lost midfield numbers. I think McAllister and Szoboszlai are two very good signings that I think will make you a different dimension. You'll be able to press again going forward. That attack's still pretty devastating, and I thought there are times at the end of last season when you wanted to, that you kind of turned it on and you were very dangerous at Anfield again. Klopp's got the bit between his teeth. There's a few changes. I just kind of feel that Liverpool were coming back at the end of last season. I honestly think between kind of second and maybe fifth, you might be able to chuck a blanket over them. It really is close, and I flipped about with it a few times. But I'm going to go for Liverpool second, as much as I hope it doesn't happen.
Good man. And Lucas, I mean, you've also got Liverpool second. Any different reasoning to Sam's, and you just really like them?
No, I think you and I don't like you. I definitely don't like that kit of yours as well.
That was funny.
What's wrong with our green kits? Who doesn't want a weird green, squarey, faded mishmash of crap?
I just think there's two parts. I think that the question marks over United and Arsenal having Champions League and the size of their squads. And then on top of that, I just think even how bad you lot played last season, you almost made top four. And to the fact now you've got no Champions League football and two midfielders who I said before, I think are quality players who you've brought in McAllister and Szoboszlai. The DM is definitely concerning, but I think the fact that Klopp is going to rest your key players, they're going to play one game a week. Like Mo Salah's not playing, maybe Mo Salah because he just plays everything, but maybe Mo Salah and Van Dijk, everyone else is not playing Europa League group stage. So even those guys will probably get 40 minutes or 50 minutes as opposed to 90 minutes in the Champions League against a Bayern or a AC or wherever it is. So I just think Liverpool without Champions League is dangerous. I think you've got it in you to go on this run, and you look good in preseason. You should have beaten Bayern, so I think Liverpool have a good chance.
And though she's not here, Keira went for Arsenal just to make you smile, is what she told me, Lucas. She said she wanted to put a smile on your face, that's why she went second Arsenal.
I feel bad now from where I put Everton.
Not relegation trio.
And then in third place, so Charlotte's gone with Liverpool third. Do you just any reason why you don't think they can quite pip Man United?
I just think it is all down to, obviously, like you were mentioning before, some of the outgoings. And I just feel like, obviously, with the outgoings... and
Alexa wanted to have a bit then.
I know, it's always me setting the Alexa off. Yeah, I just feel like with the outgoings and stuff, and obviously, like you mentioned before, obviously the signings, And I just think injuries as well have been quite a massive part of Liverpool the last few seasons. And I just think if you do get a couple of injuries, I know obviously you aren't playing Champions League football, but I just think that with those injuries and stuff, if that does happen, I think that's the only way you won't be able to get like second.
And
That's why I
Luke,
deferred. Sorry.
At least you went mean, so
I know.
I'll take that. I mean, and Lucas and Billy, you both went for Arsenal. I mean, Lucas, first of all, why do you think that Arsenal can't maintain their title challenge, or do you think they will and fall away?
I mean, to be fair, they could finish third and still be in a title challenge. So it's not necessarily. It's only just the rubbish that's been happening in the previous years where teams have been 15 points behind and finished third. So you finish third and be within 6 points of Man City. I just think, honestly, I think it's the unknown. We haven't been in the Champions League for a while, and we've got a lot of young players in there. We've got a lot of players who haven't played Our most experienced Champions League player is Kai Havertz. Okay, so that's the one we're going to be looking to.
And you love him.
And yeah, he's honestly legend in the making. He's got a lot to prove as it is, but I just think on top of that, Arteta's European performances have been pretty subpar in the Europa League for what, 2 seasons now? Yeah, 2 seasons we've been in Europe. He's been, we got knocked out by Sporting and Olympiacos. So exchange that with an Inter and a Madrid or something like that, depending on who we get. I think we're going to struggle to maintain our form in the league alongside that. And also just our start. I think our start's going to affect us. Last season, we won our first 9. I think it was 9 out of 9. So, and we still didn't win the league. So we kept it all the way. I just don't know. I think it's too many unknowns with us having Champions League football to keep up with City. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, Billy, you don't think Lucas is wrong. You think he's right and Arsenal will be third. Any advance on why?
I think they get knocked out in the Champions League group stage. I think that's why they'll be able to focus in the league after the Christmas break. I feel like they could get a tough group. And like you said, Arteta's performances in Europe have not been good enough. And in a tough group in the Champions League, they could end up finishing 4th with no European football after Christmas. So I feel like that's why I put them third.
And Sam, we seem to be on par. We're like one mind at the moment. We both got Man United third. My reasoning is I think that they'll do. To be honest with you, the only reason I put them third is because I think Man City will win. And I think Liverpool will do marginally better because we haven't got Champions League. Well, that's it. I don't think of anything real negative from United. What was your reasoning for placing them in third?
Yeah, to be honest, not far off. I think the Champions League makes a huge effect to Liverpool, and maybe why there's that switch, as I said earlier. I think this is going to be so tight between those teams, I believe. United are going in the right direction. Onana changes things, I think, massively in terms of the way that we'll play, and will be a different team in some aspects, but a lot will still come through. I think a lot of the transitional play. Højlund adds a different dimension, while he may, the comparisons with Haaland are kind of embarrassing at the minute because it's just lazy journalism. Just like, okay, yeah, they've got a similar name and they're up front for Manchester clubs, but Højlund's a different profile. No one's Haaland. It's a different profile. I'm more excited about how his movement's possibly going to open things up a bit more because Weghorst was like a statue. We're going to have someone that can run channels, that can sort of turn off the ball, that might run in behind, can do different things. That's what I'm excited about seeing, and that I feel we're going in the right direction, that there could potential. But I think with everybody else, we can't see that there's enough consistency and proof that there's anything to challenge Man City. So third. But I'm looking forward more to this season than I was start of last, where it started like a car crash. So I'm hoping, at the very least, after 2 games, I'll be in a happier place than I was last season.
And to everyone in the chat, I will be bringing up your comments once we finish the top 6. Otherwise, we'll never get through the top 6. But keep your comments saying your predictions coming in, and we will show them once we've done this first section. Number 4, we've got. I think Billy and I are on par here. You've got Chelsea in 4th. I doubt it's the same reasons as mine. Why are Chelsea 4th for you, Billy?
Poch is going to make them. He's going to be great for them. They've had a good preseason. Nicholas Jackson looks like a quality acquisition for them. They've got a proper striker now. They've rebuilt their squad. And yeah, I feel like Poch in the Premier League, what he done for Tottenham, and he's got a better squad, bigger budget at Chelsea. He'll march them into the top 4.
See, I went fourth for Chelsea because I think Arsenal are going to be tired from playing the Champions League, and it's going to freak them all out. And I think that's where Poch finishes, isn't it? Fourth. That's like the peak of his ability. Chelsea have got a good team, and that's where they should be. For me, that's just where they should be. Is fourth. So nothing more exciting than that. But Charlotte, you and Sam are sharing fourth with Arsenal. Well, what are your thoughts on Arsenal? They're placing them in fourth.
Yeah, obviously, as we saw last season, Arsenal are a very good team. Obviously, Arteta has done some good stuff with them. Obviously, he's built it up over a number of seasons now. But as we did see last season, I just think they are a young squad. And obviously, Vitaya, like we saw them. And then obviously, Manchester City picked them to the title, didn't they, at the end? And I just feel like with the Champions League added, as we mentioned, I just think that's why I put them as fourth, to be honest, because I think the other ones are a bit stronger and the squads are a bit stronger towards Arsenal's. But yeah, I think they will do well still, but I just think it's a Champions League football what's kind of got me putting them in that position.
And Sam, any advance on just too many games that they're not used to, at least in Arsenal in fourth?
I don't know whether it's that feeling that the missed opportunity thing potentially that's still, and there's a lot of comments that they're making, almost trying to brush that away. So no, we're new now. We're sort of, which I think is fine early doors, but will that come back and they feel the pressure again? And there's two ways they'll go with it. They'll learn from it, and then perhaps we're like, okay, yeah, now Arsenal have grown. They've grown to become, and they're ready for it, or they could sort of find themselves happening again. There really isn't a lot in it. I saw a lot that I liked from them yesterday. Actually, they've made some very good signings. Some of the things Rice was doing in midfield, you can see how that is gonna put them more on the front foot in certain situations. Timber, as Lucas said earlier, is a fantastic player. I like how he's added in there. So fourth, Champions League's a lot to ask, but really, none of us had Arsenal up there last season, so it wouldn't surprise me to see them surprise us again.
And Lucas, you've got United placed lower than anybody else here in fourth position. Why do you think they aren't as good as Arsenal, Liverpool, or Man City?
Because I just hate them. That's why. It was actually tough. All of it was very tough, but I do think they've improved, and they've added a striker who is an unknown. To be fair, also I don't know what's going on with Greenwood, but it seems like he's coming back as well, which the elephant in the room. Yeah, exactly. But regards to that, like outside of that, if he is playing, he will score goals as well. They've got two strikers now, so I think they look good, but I'm not sure with the defense, the injuries to those two centre backs. They're very injury prone. Onana's, I'd say, it's an improvement on De Gea in the way that United want to play.
He's unpredictable, isn't he?
Yeah, he's unpredictable. That's the word. He's unpredictable. But yeah, I just don't think between us and them it was Arsenal. To be honest, I just had to go with us. Champions League as well is going to be an effect on them in terms of their being able to compete on all fronts. But I think they look better going forward. Mason Mount adds some legs in midfield. Casemiro's a year older. Eriksen's probably not going to start as many games as well. So I reckon he'll have more of an impact because he won't have to play every game. So they'll be good, but I don't think it's enough to catch us and Liverpool.
You think Mason Mount's going to make that difference? And Charles is elated with you for saying that.
Well, he missed an open goal already, so it won't be.
I know, that was really bad. It's only friendly.
He won't be making a difference in front of goal, that's for sure.
But and I know with the Keira's, I mean, I'm not going to put words in her mouth, but what she said was when she got United third and Liverpool fourth was really she thinks Liverpool should be third, but she just wanted to be mean and put them fourth instead. I'm not making that up. That's honestly what she said. Honestly, not making it up at all. That's all true. And fifth position. I mean, we'll leave the wildest one to last because we'd be interested to talk about the most. This is where we start to get into the ones that missed out on the top four here. I mean, I've gone for Arsenal purely and simply in fifth position because I think last season was an anomaly for them and for the rest of the teams. I think the Champions League is going to give them a bit of a hiding. But looking for people who've got the same. No one's really got the same. Sam, why did you go for Newcastle 5th?
I like Newcastle. I do. I've got a little softie. I worry Champions League for them. I do worry Champions League with some of that squad. Tonali, I like, is a nice addition in there. I almost feel like people are sleeping on Newcastle a bit because everyone else is doing lots of stuff. Newcastle haven't gone nuts, but there's a lot of belief in that squad. Getting Champions League will give them something else. The fans will be rocking with that, and I think that carries them. I think Chelsea will be super strong in the second half of the season. Super strong in ways that we'll be worried about them next season. But I do think it might take a bit of time to come together, and that will be the difference where Newcastle pip in and take 5th. But they're going to have a fantastic campaign just by having Champions League. So I don't think we should sleep on Newcastle.
I did actually meet a Newcastle fan on holiday, and he said 6 for them because purely and simply because he said the Champions League is a complete unknown for them and they've not done it before, and the impact that one's going to have. But if we go with you, Lucas, you got Chelsea in 5th. Any reason other than the Poch effect?
Similar factors to Liverpool. Is everyone forgetting what Chelsea do after they tank a season? Like, regardless, they always end up. I'm pretty sure they've done it twice and then won the league straight after, or won the Champions League. So it's a different club now. But I think again, they haven't. They it's not that they haven't got Champions League football. They've got no European football, so they are playing one game a week for most of.
That's great to say, isn't it?
And I agree with B's point that Pochettino, they already look much better in terms of how they're playing, which we always knew was the case because he's a very good coach. So they're playing much better football. They've got some very good players, even from last season, plus some good additions. If they add Caicedo in there as well, it looks like they're going to get Tyler Adams maybe as a third choice, or if they can't get Caicedo in, who I think is a good player for 20 million, I don't think you can't go too wrong, but he'll do all right as a backup. I think their team's good, and that Jackson kid is quality that they've signed. Mudryk, I think, will have a good year this season as well. He's looked very sharp in preseason. I think that they're going to play better football this year and no European pressure. I think if they can keep Reece James fit and Chilwell as well, I think they're going to be a problem. So I don't know if it's enough, but they're going to be there. They're going to be very close, that top 4 position.
And Billy, you've got Liverpool in 5th. Any reason why you've got them so far behind where they should be, where they rightfully belong?
They're very soft in the middle of the park. They're too soft for me. Like McAllister, Slabajlai, they're very good midfield players, but then you haven't got a hold of midfield player. Fabinho's legs have gone, in my opinion. He's not even there. Yeah, he's gone as well. He's not even there, like you said.
You got Curtis Jones.
You've got Curtis Jones, and is Harvey Elliott still there as well?
Yeah. And some other kid.
Your bad fancy take, or his name.
Yeah, and I don't think Lavia is the answer. I think 50 million is 30 million too much for him. It's a lot of pressure on the young player. I feel like you should have been going for Caicedo, in my opinion. That's the type of player Liverpool should be going after. But like you said at the start, it's the owners. Maybe they haven't put the funds together for it.
Cheap swines. But the one that's catching everybody out.
I'm not even bothered. I don't care. I'm being controversial.
Aston Villa in 5th, Charlotte. Aston Villa, you live in a bit of Unai. You think he's going to have a very good innings?
I really do. I think when he came, obviously, to the club after Steven Gerrard and the run he went on, obviously, I know if we've got European football, don't get me wrong, but I just think some of the signings he made and just him as a whole, I think what he did last season, I think he had them playing really well. And I think Newcastle, in my opinion, I think Champions League will be too much for him. And it could affect them in the league. I think, obviously, Chelsea, it's still in transition as well with Pochettino. So I don't know what's going to happen there. So I honestly think Aston Villa will finish high up. Obviously, I predicted them to finish 5th. It might be me just being like just random, but I honestly do think they'll have a really good season. And I think a lot of it is down to the manager and what he does. And I really rate him. I really do. I think a lot of people forget about Aston Villa.
And they've got money. They're not a poor.
Exactly.
But it's a 6th position then. I think if we take a look, who's got a lot of the same. So Keira, Charlotte and Sam have all gone Chelsea. So I won't ask all both of you because we haven't got time. So Sam, so Chelsea in 6, is that because do you think they're going to improve but not quite enough, or?
Yeah, 100% they'll improve. 100% they're a different team. And yeah, strong second half of the season I see for Chelsea, whilst with some dangerous results in the first half that make us go, hang on a minute. But yeah, no European football. They are the worry. They are the worry that if it clicks, we all could be really, really, really concerned about Chelsea. But yeah, the proof needs to be in the pudding a little bit. I think there's a lot of new things coming together at the same time to get that consistency. It's always very difficult to get it's the consistency. I think we'll see performances that blow us away, and then we'll see them go and lose 2-0 away at Luton or something like that. I could see it being a little bit like that early doors. So Chelsea in 6th, but wouldn't surprise me for them to do, as Lucas says, what Chelsea do and have a bit of a season.
Make sure anything different to that?
No, I completely agree. As we mentioned, he's transitioning as well. Pochettino at Chelsea. As I've mentioned previously before, don't get me wrong, what he did for Spurs and stuff and building, I think he did great, Southampton, but I just don't really rate Poch, and it wouldn't surprise me as well if a few bad results, and they always say, oh yeah, we're building, we'll keep the manager, we're building a project and things like that, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went on a bad run and they sacked him, because that's Chelsea, isn't it? It sounds bad, but it's just Chelsea, isn't it? So I just think they're really unpredictable, Chelsea, but I do think they will do a lot better than last season. So that's why I've got them below Aston Villa. So I've got some mad decisions here.
It's a good one. I mean, and Lucas, myself, and Billy, we've all gone for Newcastle in 6. I mean, I'm pulling that down to I think they're going to do well, but Champions League is going to halter them back a little bit. Lucas, any advance on that?
I just don't think they've done enough in the transfer window as well, to be honest, to push on. Tonali's an unreal footballer. Like, he's brilliant. But outside of that, I mean, I do like Harvey Barnes, but I don't think that shifts the needle. I think that's a slight improvement on St. Maximin. And they haven't signed anyone else, right? They're linked with Livramento, but that's it. I don't think they've done enough. It's a bit strange as well. They haven't done it, considering they got Champions League, but they haven't. You know, no one's saying throw hundreds of millions of pounds, but maybe Neymar. You never know. Now that he wants to leave, if there's Newcastle, why not? Just do it.
Or some Saudi loans, some cheeky Saudi loans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who's the one that who's the predicted one to come back? Fabinho or something?
Yeah, I've seen that they're going to loan someone to Newcastle, aren't they? Not nice. Billy, any advance on why Newcastle finishing 6?
Just because I think their big summer signing is going to flop massively. Like from what I've seen, I feel like Tonali's a great player, but if you don't want to be somewhere and you don't want to live somewhere, it's not going to work out for you. And I feel like he was forced to leave Milan when he didn't want to go for big money. And his walking around the gym with his partner or wife, whoever she was, you could tell in his body language, this lad doesn't want to be here. And that will translate on the pitch. I don't think he's going to be there for a long time. And I feel like Newcastle will struggle.
I agree. He's a good player, but why? Newcastle's lovely to go for a night out, but after living in Milan, there's a slight difference there. But that's our top 6. I mean, in the chat we've got a Graham. You can think of 115 reasons why City are going to win the league again. Chris has gone City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs. I think you are the only person that has put Spurs in the top 6. There. Mr. Luke has gone City, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs. Another one. Everybody's got City winning, though. Graham's gone for City, Arsenal in 2nd. That's nice. United, I'm assuming that's Man United, because in 4th is Newcastle and Liverpool and Chelsea, and Simon's gone for City, Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool. It's nice that Liverpool are in everybody's top 6 at least. That's reassuring for me. But yeah, we're all very, very much of a muchness. But if we flip over to the scary side of the table, we're going at our bottom 4, because I thought it'd be good to see who do we think is going to just miss out and who's definitely rocked at the bottom. Now, when I input all of this, I pull it in the wrong way, really. I should have started the 20th and worked my way up, but I was very tired and it took me a long time. So the teams that we think are just going to keep themselves safe from relegation.
Aren't they? Oh, no.
Well, they're not. I mean, Lucas and Keira both think Bournemouth. By the skin of their teeth, Bournemouth.
Where's Heather?
Are staying up. Exactly. And I think Silk 1991, thank you for your chat. First time I've seen it. He's waiting to see Everton appear in the bottom three. He's in 17th there for Charlotte. But Lucas, Bournemouth 17th. They're just gonna keep themselves safe. Do you feel?
It was tough. I did have them in there, but I think there's three teams worse off in multiple ways. And I think Bournemouth had a very good manager, some decent signings as well. So I think they'll struggle, but they've shown last season that they can grind results when they need to. And I think they have enough in there to survive.
Right. And you've got Sam and Billy. You both have Nottingham Forest. I mean, Billy, what do you think? Forest are just enough to survive again?
Just enough, and I think if they're struggling in January, they'll buy another 15 players and somehow fight their way out of it. I don't know how they do it. They sign off God knows how many players, but yeah, I feel like they'll just have enough to stay up.
They were linked with someone really good today as well. I can't remember who it was, but I saw it. And then, when you see a player linked with someone like Forrest, you're like, what the hell? Like, their agent must know someone. So I agree. They just spend money.
But weren't they? I think I can't remember who it was. Somebody was threatening to bring charges against them because they haven't actually paid for a lot of the players.
I saw that. That's
Yeah, they haven't paid for all of their players, and they haven't paid a lot of their agents or something along those lines. So they're potentially a lot of trouble there. And Sam, any reason why you think Forest are safe?
I just don't know what they are. I don't really understand the team. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't picture you. I couldn't really tell you how they're going to start this season in terms of the 11. They're just, but I just feel that they'll pull it all together and have enough. Same as Billy, I think. I just think they'll pull out the checkbook and pull one or two things to get out of there. There must be enough players in the squad to do it. That's what I've based it on. And there'll be three teams worse than them. So that's what I've gone for.
And Charlotte, you've got Everton going to be in a relegation battle, but surviving.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
Obviously, they've got Sean Dyche, but I just think that they've not really signed anyone. They've obviously had players leaving them, and I just feel like with Everton it's like a constant thing with them, and I don't want to sound awful or anything, but yeah, I don't think they will go down because I think there is worse teams, but I do think they'll really struggle again, and I think it will be just by points as well, or a point. I think it will be really close at the bottom again.
Well, I mean, and I've gone for 17th. I've gone for Burnley. And my reasoning behind that is because they've seen the Championship, and normally the teams that steam the Championship come in the Premier League and get battered. And I'm thinking of Norwich primarily. But I've looked at some of their fixtures. So in their first handful of games, they're going to be playing Man City, Aston Villa, Spurs, and Man United, Newcastle, and Chelsea, all within this, all just by the start of October. I don't think they'll get hardly any points by that stage. I think they're going to be terribly demoralised. And Megamind, I've forgotten his name, Vincent Kompany. I think he's going to panic and he's not going to know what to do, because obviously this will be his first big challenge at the team in the upper echelons. And I think he's going to panic and they're going to have a bit of blip and he's going to have to do some efforts and we'll probably stabilise them by the end. But I think they're going to struggle, Burnley. I think there's going to be a lot of people looking forward to playing them because it happens the lower league team wanting to play open, expansive football against Premier League teams and they get spanked everywhere. But that's what I think. I could be wrong. It's happened once before. So those are the teams we think that are going to survive relegation. But the teams that are going to be upset, their fans are going to be devastated. And the last day of the season, they're going to be watching, hoping that the team's going to pick up points. But they don't. These are teams in 18th place. We'll start as Silk was expecting to see Everton. Sam, you put Everton in 18th. Why? Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want them to go down. If I'm honest, I've liked Everton in the Premier League. They've always added something for me, but they're running out of lives. I just feel they're just running out of lives. The last two, they're just about on the by hook or by crook. And I love Daishi as well, but they've not done anything. They've not showed me anything in the summer that tells me it's going to be any different. And I just don't think the quality's there to do enough. So I think it will be tight, but I just think it's going to be one of those that this time it's just going to go the other way, unfortunately for them. Sorry, Keira.
He's not sorry. He did it deliberately to hurt you. Charlotte, you and I are both on Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember. I think we spoke about it off camera before the pod. Look, Lopetegui's not looking happy to be there. They've not pulled up any trees in the transfer market, and they were ropey throughout the majority of next season. I mean, have you got anything else to add? Why do you think they're going down?
Yeah, I think obviously, like you said about Lopetegui, and he's basically come out, hasn't he, and said, if we don't get any signings, I am off. And then I saw today that the favourite for the job, if he does go, is Gary O'Neill. So it doesn't really fill you with confidence, does it? And then obviously Neves has gone. It is Neves, isn't it? Ruben Neves. Yeah. He's gone as well. So that's a big shoes to fill in that department. And like you said last season, I don't think they were that great last season, but there was just a lot more poorer teams down there. And they haven't strengthened, have they? So, yeah, I just think like Leicester had, where they had quite a number of years in the Premier League, and then obviously it went dry. I think the same will happen for Wolves, because there's always one, isn't there, who's been at like Southampton as well. They've been in the Premier League for a few years, and then obviously it's their time, and I just think that will happen with Wolves.
I agree. I concur. And Lucas, the first one of the promoted teams, you think Sheffield United are going down?
Yep, they're going straight back down. It's actually annoys me with teams like this, like Sheffield United, because I'm going to say two words to you, Josh. Ryan Brewster is one of their starting strikers who scored one goal in 17 games in the championship.
He had so much
season.
Potential, though, didn't he?
No, I'm not hearing that. And then on top of that, they were fined because Ollie McBurney stepped up and scored like 15 goals in the championship. And Ollie McBurney might be familiar because he has played Premier League football for Sheffield, in which he scored 6 goals for Sheffield United 5 seasons ago. So where are the goals coming from? They haven't signed anyone. They're about to lose Sander Berg to Burnley, which is just stupid. He's one of their best players. And they're linked with Chuba Akpom. So you're telling me Sheffield United are coming up and they're going to play Chuba Akpom, Ryan Brewster, and Ollie McBurney as their strikers and expect to score enough goals to stay up? Yeah, they're going down. I mean, I would probably regret this now that I have.
All three are going to score against Arsenal, aren't they?
Yeah, all 3 will get a goal, and they'll finish in the top 10. And this clip is going to get surfaced on TikTok.
The new Brighton.
yeah, exactly. And then there gone to Marseille. Like Sheffield, another one who you've got to score goals. Like you just, if you want to survive in the Premier League, you have to score goals. And I just don't see any goals coming from that team.
I mean, and Billy, you've gone for Bournemouth. Do you think this is their time?
Yeah, it's a similar thing as well. They got Dominic Solanke as their main striker, so yeah. I mean, it's where are the goals coming from? And it's their time. They were lucky last season to stay up. They were worse teams, but this season there isn't going to be many teams worse than them, in my opinion.
Right. And just to everybody in the chat, because I'm looking, there's some good comments coming through. I'll pick up on your comments once we've finished running through the predictions so we can get through this in some time. Otherwise, we'll be here forever, which you might enjoy. But I don't think everyone wants to put up with me for that long. In 19th, the team that could only hope to dream to remain, we've got fairly consistent. Now, there's going to be a pattern, but first of all, Lucas, you're so mean.
I'm sorry,
Everton
Keira.
In 19. We've got an Everton fan in the chat as well. You're hitting everybody. What you doing?
I'm sorry. I kind of, Everton's always like a good fixture in the calendar, but I think it's time. It's been time, and I think Charles said that they haven't. The business has just been non-existent. The big factor is Calvert-Lewin, who apparently has been on a rehab program and is ready to go. But even now, is he really going to be enough to keep them up? I don't see goals in that team. Their defense is horrible. I just think they've just played their luck way too much. I think they're really going to have a problem this year. So yeah, 19th. Probably should have put them off Sheffield, to be honest, just out of respect. But
Hey,
Promotion
jerk.
bounce. Yeah.
But we've got, I mean, Billy and I have both gone for Sheffield United, to be honest, similar to the same reason that that Lucas had him at 18th for me. Do you have anything different? Just not can't score?
They're just a championship club, in my opinion. They're the the latest Norwich yo-yo club, and they'll be straight back down next season.
No, I agree. There's some teams you think there's just what's the point of coming up, and one of those teams almost for me is Sam in 19th. You've got Luton there. You don't think that they've got enough to survive, but more than somebody else.
Yeah, there's a team that I've got that I think will be worse than they are. Yeah, Luton, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think we'll look at the squad, the way they play football. I think they're absolutely buzzing, and I think they're enjoying this underdog tag. Going, hopefully we can make people's Saturday afternoons a misery on occasion, particularly at Kenilworth Road, and make that difficult for them. And I think they'll have some results. Promoted teams always kind of do, but over the course of the season, I think the quality is going to be difficult. The new rules don't help them either. The last thing Luton need is another 10-15 minutes of when they're trying to sort of hang on to a 1-0 or something. But I do say I hope they get some good wins, and I hope they have a good season. But I can't see the quality to stay up, to be honest.
And we are getting some good comments in the chat. Again, everybody in the chat, we will bring your comments up just as soon as we finished our bottom four. So please keep them coming. I'm not ignoring you at all because we love you dearly. Charlotte's gone for Forest in 19th. I think you're the only one. No, you're not. Keira's got them to go down as well. So you and Keira think Forest are just done for this season.
Yeah, I just think obviously if we've got too many players, don't really know what they're doing. Like I said, similar to you, I saw the article as well. I don't know if it's all true, but just from reading the article, I think if that is the case and it is true, then obviously they'll struggle. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's time for Forest to go. As much as do you know what the whole
after one season,
it's just the fact they've signed like 94 players and I don't know who they are. They confuse me so much. The whole history and everything's like great, and it's good to have Forest there, but yeah, I don't know.
So Charlotte's saying she doesn't know who Forest are. You're rubbish. Go away. She doesn't want you anymore. You're not good enough for her Premier League.
I didn't say that.
This is actually the second time Charlotte deliberately attacked Nottingham Forest. It is one of our shorts of clips somewhere where she went after Nottingham Forest. I do, when we had lots of Forest fans in the chat. She's got form, everybody. She's got form.
I know, and they've never been back since. I feel bad.
But we've got 20th spot now. You've got neither Shah, myself, Lucas, Keira, or Billy have mentioned the team that Sam has in 19th position. Shall we see if we all landed on the same spot for the team at the bottom of the league?
5 of the 6 have.
We nearly did.
Ooh.
We nearly did. So Charlotte hasn't got Luton in the bottom 4. Not even in the relegation zone of like the bottom 4. Not even there. She's gone for Sheffield United.
I have. I'm not saying it will work always in their favour, but I think some of the superstars could be intimidated by like the fans and stuff in their ground, and I think it'll work in their favour. And obviously, I'm used to that kind of thing because obviously being a lower league fan, so I just think that we've done it as well. Like, I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but you see it in cup runs and things like that when these massive teams go to lower grounds and things. So I just think that will work in the favour. And I'm not saying they're going to be really high up or they're not going to like smash the league, but I just think they'll be able to pull off some results in that aspect.
But you think Sheffield United are crap and being relegated at the foot of the table? Is that what you're telling Sheffield United fans?
I just feel like
not putting words in your mouth.
No, I just feel like with Sheffield United, like I think it was you who said it as well, Lucas. They're just a yo-yo team. As soon as they get promoted, they're back relegated the next season, a bit like the Norwich and stuff. So, yeah, and I don't know. I put Villa in 5th. Who knows? I'm just going controversial here. But
the Luton thing is a good point.
Yeah.
I think so. that's the one factor I'd say that could help them is that ground.
I mean, with Sam, the only other holdout from Luton not finishing 20th. Why do you is it that home form that you think the home form that'll put them above Sheffield United?
I think it's the home form, and just Sheffield United they've done absolutely nothing in the transfer window. Lost their main striker in Ndai, which wasn't planned. They were hoping to keep him, I think. And I was looking transfers. They've got Slimani from Bromby, Tunisian international. Okay,
God.
Benny Traore, who's a Swedish striker who's 20 years old, and Austin Trusty, who was on loan at Birmingham last year. I just don't. I can't see where you're building. I think
Trusty was only signed by us because it's close to Trust the Process as well. So
it's just Matt Turner needed a plane flight help, didn't he, to come over, so he's the hired help. But I can't see it. They had financial issues last season, and I think they were just happy enough, and then at the same time kind of went up, and I don't think we're prepped for it. So I think it's kind of like, let's not go too mad, lads. Let's not completely ruin this again. And yeah, I don't want Luton not to finish bottom. So those two things are the main reasons.
Because Sam does have a soft spot, because if you haven't seen it, we have done an all about Luton episode, which is on our YouTube channel, which is very entertaining and performing very well. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you do. And then perhaps, like Charlotte, you might think, nah, they're too good for relegation. People that don't think Luton are too good for relegation is myself, Lucas, and Billy. Billy, why do you think Luton are going down? Woo.
They're going to be the next Derby County, but they will get 3 points against Tottenham. I guarantee you, they will beat us this season. It happens to us all the time. So, yeah, I feel like if they get 10 points, that's a big achievement for them. Their signings have been terrible. They're signing players from League One. I think, didn't they sign Barnsley's captain? And he came out and said there's not much difference between League One and the Premier League. So, okay, then.
What was Derby's record? 11.
I think so, yeah. I think it was about 11 points.
I mean, Lucas, what do you think? Do you think they're going to beat Derby's record?
You know what? Charlotte's thrown me off here as well. I'm really thinking about that home because football players are soft these days. Like they're not used to that kind of atmosphere in the Premier League. They're coddled a lot more. So, but the business
it's not
is
just
bad.
that as well, right? The ground is literally like I've been before.
Cave.
It's literally like there's houses right on the ground, like there's a street. And when I went, and this is Rochdale, Luton fans and people in these houses were throwing things at Rochdale fans. So I think when you've got Erling Haaland coming there, they're going to be waiting for him or something, aren't they?
There's no way they can get away. Like people in their bedroom just be throwing like eggs from their bedroom. No, I just think I did look at the Derby County like odds. Like I had a look at the beginning. I was like, I'm really excited because they got Brighton in the first game. If they get destroyed by Brighton, I think it's gonna be long for them. If Brighton just rock up and absolutely turn them over, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, I don't know if there's enough between those three. I just think are gonna have an absolute stinker this season.
I just don't think they just haven't got the players. There's not a player in Luton's squad that I think can do it.
And the striker's pretty good, and that's the one thing they're banking off if he can make the jump. But you never know from Championship strikers; they either end up being like an Ivan Toney or they end up being Dwight Gale. So
or Patrick Bamford.
Hey, he was good that first season. Okay,
but we've got lots of comments in the chat for me to try and catch up with. So I am going to try my darndest to try and keep up. So if I missed anything, I do apologise to everybody. But I think we've got here. So Chris called out his bottom four: Bournemouth, Forest, Sheffield United, and Luton. We know Sheffield United and Luton given no hope by anyone with the looks of it. Lisa have gone Notts, Forest, and Bournemouth, and Luton. And then, Graham was hoping that Palace was going to go down. Nobody's predicting Palace to go down here, I'm afraid. Simon saying Sheffield United, Wolves, Everton, and Luton. Another word for Everton. Oh, the poor lambs. Lisa's saying, no, Everton are safe. Graham thinks Everton are going to be safe as well, but then Wolves, Sheffield United, and Luton. Nobody's giving Sheffield United and Luton much of a hope. I think Graham said 2 of Everton's last 3 games were against Luton and Sheffield United. Ooh. So he thinks they'll scrape those ones for safety.
That's a cheeky fixture.
It is, and Silk 1991 is saying, in my opinion, Everton have got a side that can grind out results more than any other in battle, mainly due to Daishi, but generally they're very big, physical, and versatile players. Whereas if they lose a couple, they will be in trouble. E.g., if Forest lose MGW or Johnson to long-term injury, whereas we went the whole season with no striker and still survived, which I tend to agree. I think when we show our tables afterwards, I think Everton are not going to be doing too bad. We've got Luke has got Nottingham Forest, then he's got going down Wolves, Sheffield United, and Luton.
Quite a lot of Wolves, actually. I was surprised by that one.
Yeah,
they are a bit of a mess, but they've got some really good players. But I get why Wolves are in there, because again, they're just a mess.
I've got a bit of a prediction for Wolves. I'm annoyed by this Lopetegui thing, because I thought a week ago he's going to be the first manager to go because he wasn't happy. They got him on the contract, and I was thinking he might last till about October. Then he's had enough. West Ham will have enough with David Moyes, and he'll pop into Wolves at the end of the season.
Ooh.
And I mean, straight edge is agreeing. He thinks Wolves are in the bottom three.
Yeah, quite a lot of Wolves. No one. Fulham and Palace were the other ones. I think not maybe for relegation, but I think their business is. But they've lost. Mitrovic going is big.
Fulham's whole plan's gone, isn't it? Polinia goes to, and Willian now too. Fulham's falling apart a little bit.
Fulham's team has got, and they've lost the centre back as well, starting Tosin. So. And then Palace on the Hodgson for another year, but they'll pull the trigger if they risk it. They think it early. So,
but who else are going to bring back? Who else has retired recently that they can bring back? Warnock, Crystal Palace for Warnock. So they're going.
He's still at Huddersfield. He's at Huddersfield for another year.
It'll probably be Gary Cahill.
But we've got in the chat as well. So Russ thinks Luton, Sheffield United, Wolves are going to go. Could we be doing bottom four? And I saw Luton first. I think, oh my God, someone else think Luton's are going to survive. No, Luton, Sheffield United, and Wolves are going down. But Straight Edge thinks to keep an eye out for Southend. They're going to be top of the league, and in 5 seasons' time will be in the Premier League. He also made what I was quite a nice comment that tickled me a little bit. This is it. So Straight Edge said Luton are going to do the Fulham of last season and Ipswich in 2000, straight into Europe, according to Charlotte. which I quite like. Everyone's agreeing with you as well. Luton's home form is going to be key. They're going to need their neighbours shouting at the away fans, abusing players on their way through, chucking eggs out the windows and shoes. I'm going to love it if I see a shoe come over onto the pitch. Luton fans, that'll make my day if you start launching shoes tight together, the laces tight together and launching them over. I think Chris has said he can't wait to see Carlton Morris for Luton play in the Premier League, hoping he can score. Who else have we got here? And Russ is saying Luton getting the Premier League is set them up for the next decade or so, using that money to sort out the club, which is right. I think they're spending like 10 million, I think, on upgrading the stadium, which will be good. And again, Straight Edge thinks that the atmosphere is good. God, there's a lot of comments. Thank you all for interacting. Simon's got a slightly different view on the stadium there. I think that for all of our audio listeners, is that the ground is an expletive hole. And Straight Edge is saying, notice I'm not a company fan. It's not that. I think just Burnley, as I said earlier, I think Burnley are just going to try and go for it, get battered, and then realise they're going to have to rein it back a little bit. I think any other chats that we've got with predictions, I'm not quite sure who Tom supports here, but he says we used to be written off every season. Yeah, it happens every season. They prove people wrong. And he just wants them to give account of themselves. I agree. That's probably Everton.
I don't know if that's true with Everton being in terms of relegation. Have we been talking about Everton getting relegated for that long? I might be wrong, but I feel like the whole Everton relegation thing was straight after Ancelotti.
Yeah.
Which was what, 2019, 2020?
Only 3 years or so ago. Yeah, 4 maybe.
So I don't think Everton have been written off. I think people rate Everton for quite a long time. I think it's just the last 3 years they've just survived. So I just think time's going to run out at some point.
I mean, and Straight Edge in the chat, he thinks Fulham are going to finish higher than Chelsea again.
Oh, please.
I'd just be superb. Russ thinks that they could be throwing dog poo bags over the garden fence.
Sorry, man, I've got a really long throw.
They're going to get points deduction for these kind of things as well. If someone throws dog shit into the ground. That's 7 points deduction, so they'll be on 3 basically.
I didn't know they signed Harry Maguire.
Yeah. So nothing's working out for them basically.
Oh my days! I mean, Luton fans, just do us proud. Whatever you can find, whatever. As long as it's not like, I don't know, are you armchair or something? I think anything smaller than furniture.
Oh, WWE style.
That's some strength. That's some Haaland style throwing that.
Somebody launching a chair in. Oh my God, it's a chair! And straight edge of saying, boys, straight back to Everton after West Ham. We'll have a look because West Ham haven't come up in our top 6 or our bottom 4. So what we'll do now, we'll take a quick look at everybody's total league positions. We won't ask you all to go through one position at a time because I am tired. So let's look at something. Here is Charlotte's prediction. So obviously we've done our top 6 already. Aston Villa sitting proudly there in a European place in 5th. Spurs, this is a bit of a reoccurring theme here. Spurs, Brighton and Brentford. 8th, 9th, and 10th. Keep an eye on that one. I mean, and I think Graham mentioned earlier Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace at 14th, and Burnley sitting nice in the middle of the table there. So nothing. The only surprising thing there, Luton above even Everton at 16th.
I think it will be closer at the bottom. That's what I'm saying. Like a bit similar to last year. You know, they're pretty close. So.
And what you say, Keira, is Luton's better than you.
I've got Burnley there because I just think Vincent Kompany, all he needs to do is get on the phone to Pep, and Pep can give him some tips. So,
get Cole Palmer on loan.
Yeah.
Would you be surprised if any of that bottom 10 got relegated? Maybe Fulham, but even then, what we were just talking about. Would you actually be surprised if any of them got relegated?
No.
In that bottom 10.
Well, West Ham have done nothing. That's
exactly. Well, they're getting Maguire and McTominay.
Oh my God, they're done.
Haven't they just brought someone in today, or they've been linked with someone today? Is he called Alvarez or something?
Yeah, from
Edson Alvarez.
Yeah,
Scamacca's gone today.
Scamacca's gone. Yeah.
They haven't bought a striker. Like, there's a lot. West Ham is on the fringes of an implosion here. They're in Europa League too.
I mean, and Straight Edge agrees that Newcastle could be somewhere close to the top 4 at the least. But those are Charlotte's predictions. And again, I'd say keep an eye on the 8th, 9th, and 10th because these all say fairly consistent. So over to myself now. I've got Spurs in 10th, but again, Brighton, Brentford, and Spurs.
Tony-less Brentford finishing above Spurs.
Well, my reason being is I don't think Ange Postecoglou is any good. I just don't think he's a very good manager. And I don't think it's a particularly good squad. And I'm just not a fan of Spurs this season. I normally would put Spurs in around the top 7, somewhere around there. But I just think this is going to be. I don't think Ange is going to start particularly well. I think it's going to start to get worse. I think you'll probably get sacked. And I don't know what's going to happen with Kane. I think Kane's going to potentially go or begrudgingly sign a contract. I think Spurs are just going to be a mess. But again, Brighton, Brentford, Spurs in that 8th, 9th, 10th position. Again, a reoccurring theme. I don't think I've got anything too exciting in there other than Everton 13th. But so take that, everybody.
Fan?
I am. I know. Oh, that's non-biased here. I love Sean Dyche.
He doesn't want Keira bully him anymore. That's the only reason you've done it.
He's been paid off.
Well, do you know what? I genuinely think I'm very close to what Silk was saying earlier on in the chat. Is that they're a robust team, and I think Dyche's a good manager. And I think he's actually had time with them now, and I think he's going to get them organised. They are going to be tough to beat. I don't think they're going to win a lot. I don't think they're going to score a lot, but I think they're going to be tough to beat and quite compact. And but moving on, then keeping an eye on the 8th, 9th, 10th position. It reverts back. It's still Spurs, Brighton, and Brentford for Sam this time. And we're all, I think, we're much of a muchness, and that sort of bottom 10 is very consistent with everybody, really. But Spurs 8th this time for Sam. Any reason you think Spurs are just going to miss out on European football?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Harry Kane. Who knows what happens there? That might make a difference. But same reasoning. I just don't have any any trust in them that they'll be better than the sides above. I think Villa have done some very good business. I'm very impressed with what Emery did last season. I think the top 6 are strong. That's the main reason. I think Spurs are at the start of a rebuilding process, and it may take a while, and it may take longer if Harry Kane goes this season.
But you've got Aston Villa in 7th. I forgot. What did I have? Aston Villa. We both have Aston Villa in 7th. So we're both
following.
We both like the Unai Emery effect. And I got poos off us for my position in the Spurs. Sam got nothing for bottom and 8th. Favoritism. Just because.
Two places higher. See, there you go.
That was everyone's favourite. But the first time Spurs are in a European spot is for Lucas.
Doesn't help the rumours, does it?
Play both sides.
I think we're all being a bit. I don't even want to say this, being a bit harsh to Spurs because I do think they are shit. But I think regardless, sorry, but I think even if they sell Harry Kane, I just think Son, Richarlison, Maddison, I think was honestly a brilliant signing, and it's not getting talked about because of the fact that it is Spurs. But you've literally signed a quality 10 who scores goals and assists goals and takes free kicks and corners. And I would have loved him at Arsenal. But I think even if you lose Kane, I think playing Richarlison as a striker for a whole season isn't going to be a bad thing. I think he's not a winger. He's a striker. He's not a winger. So I think you're losing Kane, but I don't think you're affecting the harmony of the team too much. It's your defense, which I think is the main thing. I think Basuma will be much better in this system. And who's going to play? Isn't Ndombele coming back? Or you've got someone else next to Højbjerg, Basuma. That's a pretty solid midfield because Kulusevski and Son on either wing and Mazin. I think it's a very good midfield. It's the defense. The defense is just, you're going to leak goals. But I think Unai Emery is going to go for. I would have had Villa there. I'm not sure about Brighton as well at the moment because of European football. But Unai Emery is going to try and win that Conference League. So he's just going to be there to be like, just don't get us in a relegation battle, and he'll be like, fine, and I'll win the Conference League.
But Fulham at 10th. That shocked me.
Yeah.
I mean, is that one you want to change?
I'm not convinced by Brentford until Tony comes back, and Bremer's injured as well.
Is he?
And he's injured.
In my fantasy league.
I'm pretty sure it's anything. I like Fulham. I think the Polinia thing is definitely a problem, but Marco Silva's he did really well last season. I think they'll have enough to win some games. They're tough to beat Fulham as well on their day. So I just think that the rest of those ones, there's too many question marks on the other teams for me.
But and so a bit of FPL news then. If you got him in your midfield, take him out because he's injured. But if you do play Fantasy Premier League, check out our Twitter feed and join the Absolute Football Podcast Fantasy Premier League. I'm sure Sam will tweet that out because he's better and more organised and remembered to do those things than I am. Keira's not here. Again, Spurs and Brighton are in that 8th and 9th position, just missing out. She's gone for Aston Villa in 7th. West Ham in 10th. Above Brentford. Other than that, Everton 15th. There's nothing much more exciting going on than that. And it was that surprising that Everton were 15th. Billy dropped his pen and had to shift himself around in preparation for his top 20. He's got Spurs in 7th. So what are you confident? You're confident you're going to be playing European football again season after this one?
Yeah, it has to be the minimum expectation for this season. I think Ange needs to get us back into Europe. Conference League is a great competition, a trophy we can actually win on paper as well. Although last time we were in it, we got kicked out of the group stage, but we had Nuno as manager, so I think that's allowed. I feel like Ange plays really good football. Saw a lot of Celtic last season, and I feel like once Kane gets out of the club, that whole saga is done and dusted. Then we can build again for the future. And hopefully he can get the best out of Richarlison because there is a football player in there. 2-footed, Brazil's number 9. Surely he can get more goals than he did last season.
Well, and everybody's got sort of Brighton and Brentford around that 8th, 9th, 10th position. So again, no surprise. You've also gone for Everton in 15th position. Still in the chat's go, will Delhi get back to his best? Is Delhi still at Everton officially? Is he?
He's injured though.
So will he get back on the pitch and then back to his best? Who knows? But Aston Villa 8th. There's nothing else really. We're all much of a muchness, certainly in their bottom 10. And but that is all of our predictions. Well done, everybody, for getting there. What a solid effort. What a solid effort. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for taking part and for letting us know your thoughts as well. We will be saving these. The winner who gets the closest will win a prize of some descript. I'm sure we'll get some at some point. We might even do some podcast merch at some point. And whoever on the team might get a little bit of that for free out of the kindness of my heart. But if you do want to get your hands on some, if you think we should be doing some football podcast merch, let us know. Let us know on the Twitter feed. Say that you want some Absolute Football merch, because look how sexy all these graphics are that you want to get your hands on. And we might even, if enough of you want it, it could be a prize in our FPL that Sam is going to tweet out later. Please remember to tweet this out, Sam, for the Fantasy Premier League code. But thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining us. It's been lovely having you all here, and it's been so lovely having all of my friends here together. And Shah, everybody's going to want to know, how can they get more Charlotte in their lives? How can they do that, Shah? Where are you?
Well, you can actually catch me on Thursday at 8:30 on Absolutely Lower League. We'll be talking about games from the Championship, League One, League Two, and the National League. So I will tweet them out in the next few days, because we've picked specific games that we're going to actually talk about, because there's that much to get through. And I don't know if anyone's seen our preview show, but it was a really long one. And I can say as well, Rochdale isn't in one of them, so I'm happy. So yeah, you can catch me on that, or Twitter, Instagram, Threads. I don't know what I'm doing on Threads, but everyone jumped on it, so I thought I would. And TikTok, I'm SharXREFC, or you can catch up with my Her Game 2 stuff now the season started. That is Rochdale HGT on all of them.
And of course, Sam, everybody's favourite. Sam, where can they all find you? Where are you?
I am pretty much most places. Up the FM Ducks, some doing a lot, some not doing so much, on different platforms, Twitter mostly, or you can pretty much find me on the podcast or doing stuff on the podcast account. So, but up the FM Ducks if you do want to follow me on there.
Oh, I would highly recommend it, because he's lovely and his tickety TikToks are superb. And somebody else who's got wonderful tickety TikToks, Billy, where can everybody find you? So our newbie, Billy is a permanent member on the team now. One of our newbies. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so I'm Hold My Heim. I'm on YouTube and on TikTok, and I do mainly Football Manager content, but you'll see Spurs rants on there as well. So yeah, those are the two main places you can find me.
And I have it on very good authority, the most handsome man on all of Twitch, consistently, and one of my all-time favorites. Lucas, where can everybody find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitch at CrabJewel, and TikTok as well, and Twitter. But I'm not really active on there as much anymore. Just wait for it to die.
and you don't get the same visual quality you get as Lucas on Twitch, which is what we all really want. If for any strange benign reason you want to follow me for football abuse and very controversial outspoken views, just to wind people up most of the time, I am FMFO_official on Twitch, which I might do something at some point, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, all of that jazz. And of course, so please follow the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, because that would be absolutely lovely. We're on Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod, TikTok at Absolute Football Pod, Instagram and Threads at Absolute Football Podcast _. And of course, we're on Facebook, the Face of Books and the Book of Faces, the Absolute Football Podcast. Make sure you join us there on all of that. Subscribe. It's free to subscribe on YouTube as well. You'll love it. And but thank you all for watching it. Hope you've had a wonderful evening. We will catch you all very soon. Don't forget, Thursday, 8:30 for Absolutely Lower League with Shah, Scoops, and what a fabulous team we have there as well. And then we'll be back next Monday for the review of the Premier League's opening day. Thank you very much for joining us. TTFN, ta-ta for now.